Thank you very much for participating in the Great Red Deer Trivia Challenge. This week we're going to give you the answers for the questions on grain elevators and seed companies. This building, which stood on 51st Street, was originally constructed in 1892 as Red Deer's first Methodist church, later the United Church of Canada. In 1927, it was taken over by the Code family and run as Code's Grist and Seed Mill. The building stood until 1977, when it was demolished to make room for the Alberta Provincial Government building on 51st Street. This particular elevator was the National Grain Elevator. It was located immediately north of the 45th Street overpass, which was the traffic overpass that went over the south part of the CPR yards. It was built in 1961 after the Canadian National Rail Yards in Red Deer were moved to North Red Deer, and they built a new national grain elevator along the CPR. Starting in the early 1920s, they built a CNR station and yards on Ross Street and 47th Avenue, where the Co-op or Plaza Shopping Center is located today. And in 1925, the National Grain Company built an elevator on the corner of Ross Street and 47th Avenue, and that stood there till 1961 when the rail yards were relocated to the north side of the river, and this particular grain elevator was demolished. There's now a 7-Eleven on the site. This elevator was built by the Red Deer Seed and Grain Company in North Red Deer in 1950. It was located on Kerrywood Drive, right across the street from Harper's Metals. It stood there until the 1980s when the elevator actually burned down. And then adjacent to that was a retail building that was later turned into a church. The site now is, in the last few years, has had a number of townhouses built on the exact site. The answer to this question is that this was the United Grain Growers elevator, built in 1917, and stood just a short distance north of the old CPR station at the end of Ross Street until 1986, when it was finally demolished. As most of you have probably already figured out, this is a picture of the Parrish and Heimbecker grain elevator. It stood a little bit south of 55th Street, close to where the Alberta Dairy Pool or Saputo Foods plant is now. It was originally called the Alberta Pacific grain elevator, later taken over by Parrish and Heimbecker and torn down when they built the overpass to go over the 55th Street as it went under the train tracks. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, this week's questions for the Great Red Deer Trivia Challenge.
Hello, I'm Mary Martin Fink.
And I'm Doree Martin Vellner. We, along with our sister Patty Martin, Colburn, and our brother Joe, attended school here.
Do you know where this building was and where it was located?
Right, we climbed these steps, 126 steps every day to go to school, and many athletes use these stairs in their training.
We crossed the traffic bridge, and many times we were chased by little boys with snakes. The garter snakes were coming out in the spring, and we were in their bad graces.